Okay, iPad's on. All right. So, all right, so I'm recording this so that way then I upload it at the end when I'm done chatting with you, and that way you have the actual lecture or just the information. And that way you know exactly what's going on. Okay, so what we're going to do is this little activity, build an atom, okay? Which basically is, this is the directions that are posted for you, okay? Over the next 2 weeks, you'll be assigned an element. We're going to do a little lottery here, it'll be fun, by me, the teacher. And you're going to find your element on the periodic table, and you'll write the symbol in on your sheet, okay? Obviously, you'll know it. This is if you're in class, so I did it and I wrote it down. But I've got a sheet right here that I'm going to write down the element that you randomly, I picked 18 elements. And we're going to do a lottery, which I'll explain in a second how you get them. And you will then, one of the first parts of the assignment is going to be, and I picked elements that it's easy to find good content information for you as far as that. So a little bit of research. So the first part of the project is going to be, you will type me at least a one page, at least one, it can go more, okay, but we're talking, you know, a nice informative, tell me about, and you're going to cover, you know, the basics of it, telling me all about the uses, the properties, like, you know, of the element, where it's used, where it's found, how it's beneficial, some example, you know, just basic good content, easy stuff you can find about the element that you're assigned to. Basically, it's going to be an easy research, at least one page, at least paper about your element, okay? And that would be like in a Word, you could type it up in that capacity. But the fun part is going to be is making your model. So, staying with me. As I showed, and I just got a couple examples. This is just one. They're all over on my wall over there. I've got a bunch of them, but this was a model from this project a couple of years ago that I kept, and if you remember from the classroom, over on top of my cabinets, I've got probably 15 or 16 or so of them still up there. Various different ones, materials. They used yarn and some, and it looks like coat hanger stuff, and some people used, you know, whatever materials you found in the house, you know, sticks, toothpicks, Legos, macaroni, I mean, you name it, anything, okay? So what you'll be doing is you're going to create a three-dimensional little model, basically just like the diagrams that we were doing on the whiteboard, but we're going to bring it to life, okay? So basically you'll have to tell me how many protons, so however you do that, this person did their protons with green, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, if I look at my periodic table without knowing the name of this, element number 10, because I memorized, oh, this is an example of neon, okay? So the glue fell off, but they had their neutrons around the outside here, or they did them on the back and they fell off, but then there was the neutrons too as well, but all the protons and neutrons, figuring out how to place those in there. And then they had their 2 electrons in the first orbit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, the other 8, which made it neon and yellow. So this was an example of neon, okay? So showing you an example of that. I don't need to see a name on this because all I got to do is count whatever is my protons in the nucleus, and that should match up with the parameters of that. So it's just a little fun part, but you'll basically have your number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So it says use materials you can find at home. Okay, nothing fancy, or if you need to come up here and work on, you know, like I said, just an excuse to get out of the house or something. You're going to build a model of your atom that's assigned. You're going to be sure the biggest thing is placement of the protons, neutrons, and electrons in the correct place. All right, and then of course the number of circles or orbits, however you go to complete that. And you can even make it out of paper. You know, if you're a person that cuts out and attach, I mean, however to complete it. There's some people get really creative with it. You know, I've seen a little bit of everything. I had one person one year that was in metals class. Obviously, we're not in school, but they did a lot of welding, and they made me one out of metal, but it looked like some type of medieval weapon. They took it back home with them. I don't ever know what happened to it, but their dad was also a welder, so they did a lot of that on the side. It was really, really cool, and brought it in. It was a orb, so it was really cool. So, I mean, that was just one example. I've seen people make it out of food, and, you know, so sky's the limit. This is where it gets you, like, the creativity part of it. And like I said, there's many, many ways to do this, okay? So once you've completed your model, here's the 2 things. So I'm just speculating, or I'm thinking next couple weeks, you know, we'll find out if we're going back to a hybrid at the end of this month, okay? So 1 of 2 things. So as of January 22nd, you will take a picture, so it might be you at home just like, ta-ta! You would submit your little paper like you do normally through Schoology, scan it, whatever, and you take a picture, and you would submit that at least with your assignment, so I can at least see the project's done on the 22nd, and then the first time you come back to class, whenever it is, you just bring it forward. I'm going to display them, take down the old ones, and put your guys' up. But that way I know you finish it on time. Okay? So that's what you would do for temporarily at home, take the picture of it. So that's what it says. So January 2nd, that is that Friday. Take a picture of your model, and you just submit that picture. And then, of course, obviously, I said clean up your assigned area. I forgot that's when we were doing them in class. But hopefully you clean up your assigned area, which would be at home. Don't leave a mess or wherever it is you're doing that stuff. But it's a little biokinesthetic, a little fun part of just getting out using the hands, creating the orbits, creating the protons, neutrons, electrons. We would spend 2 or 3 days here in class, bring your material in and do it in here, but stay on task. We'll be completing it from home. So let me grab a couple more models here for you. For example, give me a second. Pull some of these down. Here's one. This person did. Here's a couple other ones coming right around the corner that you've ever not paid attention. Here's somebody who went really nice. They did some wood part work, and they did some simple wood, and they strung it, and they strung beads and strings and everything. And if I was to count all the red and the blue, actually this is lead. Okay, so I would just basically, obviously orbits, and there's 2, then there's 8, then there's 8, and so on. And it'd have the charges there, and there's all the orbits and sun gone, the neutrons, and kind of cool. Here's somebody that used, looks like some little dowel rods and some fishing line and little colored balls, or something, whatever they found. Maybe they plucked them off a poor stuffed animal that they didn't want anymore. I don't know. But these are some other examples. I mean, I've got lots of them up there. I know somebody had some old golf balls and glued straws to golf balls, and then did kite string, so the golf ball was the new, So whatever it is, or however it is, I mean, there's many ways. And I know you've got just gizmos and gadgets, something to create, right? But you got plenty of time. You got over a week and a half plus this weekend and next, and I might even extend it out if you're close to being done or whatever. But I said we'll see where we're at in 2 weeks. But it's not a hard, elaborate project for that, and I might even extend it because I want to put it on this semester's grade since we're not having like finals. This is a project, so that's why I did the 22nd, which is the last day assignment that will be counted on first semester grades. Okay, so that's why. All right. Okay. So anyways, the directions are in your Schoology there with it. Okay. But now what I was going to do is I was going to go from, if I'm looking at my screen, and hopefully everybody that can hear me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start left to right, top to bottom, systematically, how I see you in the screen, and I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 18, just it'd be random like that, all right? And the number that you tell me, it will be the element. I have a list here of 18 elements. That will be the one how it was randomly. We would have done a random drawing, but I was trying to think of what's a universal way and how your pictures have showed up. So does everybody follow me so far? So hopefully you're listening. I only see a few faces, but I'm going to start from my top right, what I see. And it looks like Ms. Torres, you are the dubious one that gets to pick a number first on mine. Pick a number between 1 and 18, Ms. Torres. And this will be your element, according to my chart.
I'm going to go with 4.
Okay, 4. So Ms. Torres gets the element sodium. You have sodium, Na. Okay? See how that works? Mr. Lewis, can you hear me? You are next in line, according to my screen. Pick a number between 1 and 18, but 4 has been taken.
10.
10. You have, Mr. Lewis, you have arsenic. You have arsenic, which is element 33, arsenic. All right. Mr. Carter, you're third. Would you pick a number between 1 and 18, not 4 or 10 for me?
7.
7. You have, I like this one. You have cobalt, my friend. You have cobalt, element 27, cobalt. Beautiful, pretty blue-colored cobalt. Okay? All right, Miss Hudson, your turn. You're up next. Pick a number between 1 and 18. If you happen to say 4, 7, or 10, or I will tell you to pick again. Miss Sydney Hudson, pick me a number between 1 and 18. Okay, going once, going twice, should just not be on screen. All right, I'll come back to Miss Sydney Hudson. All right, looks like Colin Stevenson, if you're there, please. Would you're next? Colin, pick a number between 1 and 18.
Can Can I have one, I guess?
You can have one. Mr. Collin, you are carbon. All right, you are carbon, Mr. Stevenson. Element number 6. All right, Miss Draper, hello, you're next. Would you pick an element for me, please?
8.
8, you have nickel. Good element there. Element number 28, you have nickel. All right, Mr. Ryan Hayes, welcome, welcome. Pick a number between 1 and 18.
Could I get 18?
You can get 18, and you have bromine, which is element 35. Element bromine, which is element 35, Ryan. Okay. Next, Mr. Lohman, would you pick a number, please?
17.
17. You are aluminum, element 13. Mr. Lohman is aluminum. Good element. Mr. Ross, you're next, Mr. Ross.
Can I get number 12?
You can get number 12, and you are calcium. You are calcium, element 17. All right. Miss Steele, you are next, dear.
2.
2, you get argon. That's a good one. All right, Miss Steele, you are argon. That's element 18, argon. All right, Mr. Jones, you're next.
16.
16, you can have silicon. That's another good one. Silicon. Okay, that's element 14. Going back to my list, Mr. Doyle, if you can hear me, please. You are next up. What you got?
5.
5, you can have, Mr. Doyle has neon. You have neon, that's element 10. Mr. Clark, if you'd pick an element for me, or pick a number, please.
13.
13 sounds good. You have sulfur. You have sulfur. Okay, Miss Cole, you are next. You pick a number for me, dear.
12.
12. 12 has been picked, so pick another one for me, dear.
5.
5 has been picked. Try, I got 3, 6, 9, 11, 14 left.
6.
6. You have iron. Strong iron, Miss Cole. You have element number 26, which is iron. And Miss King, you don't pick one. All right, so the individuals that haven't either logged in or that, I'll go back to Miss Hudson. Are you back yet, dear? No, you logged in, but you're not there. So I have a couple. So according to my list, I have 3 elements of my roster. I will assign one to Miss Audrey, which she won't mind. I'll give Miss Audrey, I'll give her zirconium. Yeah, I'll give her fake diamonds. She'll like that. Miss Audrey, she'll get zirconium. All right. So then I have 2 left over, which I'll just assign to those individuals that aren't here. All right. So the element that you randomly got here, I've got your name written down next to it. And I picked also not only elements, not getting too big, but not too small, but I also knew these are ones that were easy to write, that little informational stuff, because a lot of these, you know, whether it be nickel or neon, there's a lot of cool stuff that they're used for in everyday stuff, and whether it be in advertising or in materials or valuables or whatever it is. So there's a lot of easy history stuff with these various different metals or non-metals to make it easy for you, not difficult anyway, to write that little informative little paper, okay, that goes with it, with also setting up your diagram, okay? But does anybody have any questions? Here's the directions already read. Everybody has their element about what's expected of you, okay? Does anybody have any questions about last Friday's homework? And if you do and have watched the recap of the review, you know, then ask with that as well. Okay, of course, no, Myra. Okay, so the only thing is between this is the last review from sections 1, 2, and 3 is on next class period. I will recap the moles to mass thing a little bit, okay, which is Thursday, all right, or no, I'm sorry, Friday. And so this is a project that you can begin on today. If you are somebody that is already in the building, maybe in a study hall or something, and want to come down here and ever work, you're fine. If you want to come up here at any time during the day, even on Wednesday, obviously, which is the study day, because we're here in the building, you can come up and work in the classroom just to break up the monotony if you're already here. Is fully welcome with that too as well, all right? But we're in the home stretch, so my goal is to make sure everything's caught up with that as far as homework and everything. So this is kind of like takes the place of, you know, it's a project, so easy thing to do that takes the place of not having a final that last day of grading period. So and it goes right in hand with chapter 4. All right, so we'll kind of go from there and see how that takes us. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Dun, 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 dun. No. All right. So let me know if. Oh, Miss King, would you mind if you're there? I see that you got logged in there at the end. Brain cramp on my part. What exactly is next week's schedule? We don't meet on Tuesday. Is that correct? Because of the holiday, or I can't remember. Oh, she's locked in. So I will go over. I will go over that. I'll recheck that, and then I'll send it an update. But I can't remember. It's a little modified on the schedule next week. Different. Don't worry about that. I think it's because we don't have school holiday. I think it's next Monday, right? Isn't that something? I can't remember. The 17th.
Martin Luther King.
Thank you, Martin Luther King. Thank you. I knew I couldn't remember it was on Monday. And then, of course, so it is a little modified. So I'll recheck. So I will fill you back in on Friday exactly what this class schedule is for us meeting that last week. Okay, which I can't remember. Sorry, it's my fault. But I know there's a little modification. But I do see another time this week, so I'm not worried about getting that information to you. Okay. So, any questions, comments, concerns, problems, stories? No? Yes? No? Maybe? Yes? No? Okay. All right. Everybody has their element. Everybody knows how the project works. If there's any questions that come up between now and the next time I see you in class on Friday, either stay on here and ask me about them, or email me, or something of that nature. Okay? Everybody good? Okay. Awesome. Well, you could go ahead and get to work on that, or start brainstorming on how you want to do that. You can, if you don't have your material to build, you could even start maybe working on the paper part of it. A little bit of, get your ducks in a row on your facts and so on. A little 1-page plus paper is so easy for you to write. It's not that much at all. So that's why I want to just make it informational. So just try and narrow it down to some really cool stuff, as to the who, what, when, where, what's it used for, where do we get it, and things of that nature. And, maybe everyday uses for it. Maybe, what is it that element or non-element's used for? Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So if you don't have anything else, I'm still here. I'm going to shut off that, then I'll upload this. So if you tuned me out but need to watch that again, all the directions, who is assigned what elements back on there and everything, and recap and everything. So I'll just put it under recap project and information for Tuesday the 12th. Okay. All right. So if you don't have anything else to do, we have plenty of stuff to do. If that's finishing last Friday's homework, I believe it's due. Let me check. Is that right? If I click off that, it was due. Making sure. Some of you are already clicking off. It is. Yeah, it's due Wednesday. So the little element assignment I gave you on Friday is due tomorrow. So if you haven't finished that, might want to finish that and get that submitted. Or you can go and start on your project. Okay? All right. I'm going to shut off that. So if you're good, you are free to go. If you need anything, let me know. Okay? All right, I'm going to shut this down. Oh.
Have a good day.
See you, Carter. See you, Hayden.